Hello, you all. Welcome to this new edition of Lectio Musica, the place for great lyrics, great music, and great meaning. My name is Guilain Prince. I'm a Franciscan friar from Canada. Love rock music for a long time, especially hard rock, metal, and prog. Once a week, I come back in my little office in which I work during the day to listen to great music, to be with you, in fact. So what do? I listen to great music that you have suggested in the past videos, and this time we are on a journey through an album that many of you consider to be among the very best of Nightwish. It's called Dark Passion Play. This is the fifth video of the series, but don't be fooled. The reason why is that I already did a series on the 24 most beloved song of Nightwish. They are called, it was a whole series. I did that 2 years in a row. So, and in that previous series, I did already The Poet and the Pendulum. So you see that's why the number because LM is the name of my general series called Lectio Musica. You see 70, you see 71 Amaranth, and there's another one, 7 Days to the Wolf, I think will be LM72. We will see it a little bit later. So when I began this series 5 weeks ago, I began with Bye Bye Beautiful. Now you see the LM97, LM98, and LM99. Last week was my LM100, Eva. And this week then is 101, Sahara. This video will be for the first time with a more recent video. It's 2016. It's not that recent, but it's more recent. I will first react to the lyric videos, a studio recording. Secondly, I will react to a live video of this song by Annette in 2008. Third section of this video, it will be a short analysis of the lyrics. The lyrics are not very long. They have a few element of difficulty, but I think, well, I'm able to make sense of it. We will see together if it makes sense, but if not, I know that you will react down here in the comment section. And finally, the fourth section of this video, will be the live version with Floor in 2016. So, without further ado, let's go and see and watch this lyric video. It's the word, they seem to be, I'll always make sure that the recording is good enough. So I always listen maybe 1 second of each video just to make sure that the sound is good. Because I've been pretty much the big deception like last week. I forgot to listen to but it was a very, very compressed sound. I'm sure it's not from the original recording. This time I made sure that it was the original recording. But the lyrics are very clear, and so I think you will appreciate that one. So let's go without any more delay in 3, 2, 1. One of Thomas' famous sound that he likes very much. Yep. This works. I remember when I did a survey for the. You remember when I did a survey a long time ago to identify the very best songs to fall in love with Nightwish. I remember very well that Sahara was very close to the third one from that album. And I understand why. There's something very beautiful about it. The fact that he uses these scales from this scale from the Eastern world. It's beautiful. He enjoy using exactly where the scale is, because some part of the scale are like a regular, I would say, a major scale that we have, but some part of the scale very precisely at two moments will give this very, very strong Oriental feeling, and this is where he made his melody very strong, so that the Oriental feeling of the song makes no doubt that we are somewhere in the Sahara or Northern Africa or maybe Middle East, but there's no doubt about that. Let's go directly to the second video to see how this was played live. Oh, so this one is live at Gemple Open Air 2008, so after the release of the album the same year. sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really good job. Thank you so much.
Great. Well, that certainly is the best performance I've seen of Annette in show. In the show, she was right after the release, apparently, or not more than a year. And this was excellent. Her voice is steady, strong, and the general performance is excellent. At a festival, open air, I didn't notice the name of the place. Probably I said something. Oh, I lost it. So it will be for the next time. For you, just rewind to see the place. But anyways, very good performance. They used backtracks for the orchestra, symphonic orchestra, and for the choir. It was not very strong. Choir was not very strong, but it was there, and it was nice. Yeah, good performance by everyone. She did a little bit of variations from the original recording. It was nice addition, a little bit jazzy. So loved it really. Okay, so let's dig into the lyrics. A ballad of a dark queen echoes through the night. Now, officially, she sang not a dark queen, she sang a ballad of dark queen. Echoes through the night as he flees the curse of gods, the Pharaoh's wrath. A ballad of dark queen or a dark queen, I don't know what it is. Is it the dark queen walking, going away? Or is it in the sense of a music or a melody of dark queen being here? I would put them with capital D and capital Queen, but since it's not the case in the both the liner notes and Genius Lyrics website, I'll keep it that way. How do you understand that first expression? The only one I can make sense of this is the fact that the Dark Queen leaves during the night. Why is she dark? I don't know. Is it because she is in the dark? She is a queen. The rest of the song, she will be only called the queen. So the queen dressed in black, or is it the fact that in Egypt, you have part of the population, the skin is dark, so that would refer to the origin? I cannot answer that. The only thing is, there's at least, I think we can get from this, that a queen walks, and her walk echoes through the night, okay? And he flees the curse of God. I would expect at first that it's she flees the curse of God. Now, it's him that we will learn about in a minute, the philosopher. So what I would stand to suggest here is that the queen leaves the Pharaoh's castle knowing that she will provoke Pharaoh's wrath to join the philosopher in the night. So that would be my take on this one. What do you think? Does that make sense to you? Let's continue. I think with the rest of the lyrics, this understanding becomes clear. But frankly, to me, it's not all that clear. Okay? The chorus now. 1001 nights unseen, the philosopher and the queen. I see there are two ways to understand this. 101 nights, that's obviously the collection of tales from, is it from Persia? from the east. Beautiful tales, a lot of magic involved, and many of them Aladdin and so on. So 1001 Nights Unseen. This could be, let's add one story to the 1001. Let's talk about a new story, a new tale called The Philosopher and the Queen. That could be one. The other, I think that since the philosopher and the queen seems to be fleeing away from then that could refer to 1001 Nights Unseen, that they have not lived until now. And if you followed me for a little while, you know how beautiful, not at all scary the night is in Thomas's repertoire since the beginning. The name of the band is Night Wish. The fact that it's a wish from the night, a wish taken or expected in the night, the beautiful and long nights of Finland, in which, in more recent works, Thomas sees the universe, the beauty, and he uses that quote from Shakespeare, where the sun, what everybody calls the day, the sun is called garish, and garish. I don't know if you are aware, but Pharaohs and one of the divinities is the sun. So to fly away in the night, away from the sun, being garish, being proud and too proud, in fact, and his light is too strong. And so Juliet and Romeo and a shoemaker, and all of this to me makes so much sense when we know a little bit the background. Now, those who are flying away, fleeing, also I should say fleeing, seems to be, to me, the queen and the philosopher. The queen leaves the pharaohs to run with the philosopher, and we will see now, learn a little bit more about the philosopher. The philosopher is an ancient mariner in a sea of sand. So the philosopher is out of his milieu, is out of his comfort zone. And this, I think the ancient mariner is the philosopher. The burning beauty is tomb to die for. The burning beauty. Who is the burning beauty? What is is it the sea of sand that he's fleeing through the Sahara? So the sea of sand, that's the burning beauty, very hot beauty. Or is it the queen? And by this, in the sea of sand, he will is going to his tomb, to his death. His tomb to die for. The burning beauty is tomb to die for. For me, to die for, you don't die for the Sahara. You die for a beauty, the queen. That's why I would tend to understand that phrase. To die for, this beauty, to die for, will lead him to his tomb, which will be in a sea of sand. How do you understand that? For me, that's how I would make a little bit more meaning of this. Let's continue. You already know the chorus. I already gave my understanding. Horizons swarming with death. Run. The horizon, probably from the Pharaoh's army, the Pharaoh himself. We will see that they were fleeing in the previous verse from a the curse of the gods. So for me, everybody is against them. They are against them. The Pharaoh, the gods, and we will see that apparently the dunes. So God's creation, everyone is against this, but they're still pursuing their project, their run. So the horizons is swirling, is building up with death. So I think run away, because heaven has a darkened face. Dunes are soaring as on a chase. Caravan of the cursed, chasing him across the waves. What is the caravan of the cursed here? That's, for me, that's the big mystery. Because is it the caravan in which the queen and the philosopher are in, those who are cursed, but chasing him across the waves of what? The waves of this the desert, as we saw. So for me, there's a little bit of a mystery here. The way I make the best sense of that bridge is that way. Heaven has a darkened face towards the caravan of the cursed. Dunes are soaring as on a chase, chasing him across the waves. That's so I would kind of use sometimes what we see in poetry, a mixed, intertwined verses. If I don't do that, heaven has a darkened face. That's something we already saw. Dunes are soaring as on a chase. So the dunes are growing. They are getting more and more. Is it from advancing, moving towards the dunes so they become bigger? Or is it because from behind us, with the caravan of the cursed, then that would be the caravan of the Pharaoh's followers? I don't get this one. So I ask you to help me in here. But for me, it could make sense quite easily if we kind of understand that the cursed going against heaven would be the caravan of in which the philosopher and the queen are. But what do you think of that? Now, the philosopher, may he now rest under aegis of mirage in English, as the sands slowly turn to Elysian field. That is very interesting, because this gives another perspective on the sand. The sand could be the exit door, protecting those fleeing away from pharaohs. It can be a menace, of course. It is a menace, but now let's say, for example, it's the philosopher rest under aegis of marriage, under the protection, under the l'égide, we say in French. The marriage protects the philosopher, apparently. Has the sands slowly turned to Elysian field? Elysian field, that's in Greek mythology, that's the equivalent of heaven. So, as the sun slowly turns to Elysian fields, and the interrogation mark here, just want to make sure not to make the same mistakes. The same mistake. We are back. I couldn't believe there was a quotation mark there. It didn't make sense. So I went and verified on 2 sites, and there's nothing there. So Elysian Field. So sand slowly turned to Elysian. So the menace of the sand, the menace of the Sahara, becomes the protecting site for the fleeing ones. Now, he may rest under the aegis of marriage, and marriage here is very interesting. Very interesting. Mirage can be 2 things. It can be, of course, the impression that there's an oasis, and this oasis doesn't exist. So you move, and you arrive in a place where there's nothing. Or the mirage could be the project itself of fleeing away from Pharos as the sun slowly turns to Elysian Field. So is the mirage the fact that the sun slowly turns into Elysian Field, or if it is happening outside, but there is this, I would say, foolish project of having the queen with the philosopher continuing together. That's, for me, that's all of this is fascinating. 100,000 Nights Unseen, philosopher and the queen, there it is. So if we want to bring everything into place, the structure is quite simple. There is a verse, short 2-line verse, 2-line chorus, 2-line verse, with the choir enters a little bit for the horizon and run, and then there is the bridge. Before the bridge, there's quite a good instrumental section, and there is a lot of music in that section. So, and the opening is clearly evoking fleeing away from. So the music should be more important than it shows, as it shows right now on my little diagram. And the music is both gorgeous, beautiful arrangement, a little bit more complex than the regular metal song with these scales, and the instrumental section is quite convincing, both from a metal point of view and from an influenced metal song from the Eastern music. Now, after Eve, we come back to the theme of flying away that we've seen with the catching a breath. There is commonality. There is really a theme that we've been developing, and they are fleeing away from the wrath of a very powerful man. The philosopher here seems to be madly in love with the queen, and she also lives with him, as I can see. Now the key for me is, how do we understand the Dark Queen? What is the Dark Queen? Maybe it's an expression to mean something, the Ballad of Dark Queen. But for me, that's how I would understand this. Now, they fly away, they flee, knowing perfectly well that they might not survive, because the Pharaoh is very powerful. They still leave, even if it's only a possibility. So beyond the Pharaoh, there are the heavens, the gods, and the dunes. Seems to be, at first at least, against that project. But as you've seen, the sand become the Elysee Fields. Is it a mirage, or is it something that might be in fact what will be happening what will be the outcome of this. A bit of analysis here. Her last breath, the cadence of her last breath, and the poet and the enduring effect of the butterfly on the poet. And then in Eva, you have this little girl leaves the house of the beasts not without making an impression on the poet again, on one of the beasts. So, to me, there's a very clear line. And even if it's not a straightforward, exact, simple narrative development, all of this is coherent for me. I don't know for you, but it's very coherent. So the queen leaves, knowing the wrath of the pharaoh, with the philosopher, at the risk of their lives. Is it a marriage? Is it? So the possibility of 1001 nights is sufficient for defying the deadly risk, even if the pharaoh and his armies, or followers, I'm not sure, the gods and the dunes are against them. Yeah, the philosopher and the queen. So the philosopher is described as well as a mariner outside his comfort zone, which would be the sea, of course, but leading the queen, she's also out of her comfort zone. So do he leads them to their death for a mirage? That's a good question. So what is my opinion of the song? Nightwish has this ability to make great metal music out of many influences, and for me the album Human Nature is absolutely great for that. The music comes, the influences or the inspiration comes from all over the map, but still there is all of this is very coherent. I don't see some people, they get their influence from everywhere, but they are a little bit, there's a very strong artistic center in Nightwish and Thomas brings stuff from many places and rebuilds everything within himself to give that kind of music. And for me, this is a strength. This is a real deep strength of Thomas. The Oriental scales, at least the harmonic minor, at least, I didn't look more than that, adds the beauty and mysterious quality of this song. So musically, I find it's a success. Since the beginning, I get the impression that we have different point of view on a situation unfolding before our eyes. We had the point of view of the poet, which is a beast, also the beauty, the little girl. Here we are running with the queen and the philosopher. Is their quest based on a mirage? I cannot answer that at this point. But both are at this point outside their comfort zone. But at least they are together. So will that last? I don't know. But this is what we have here. And I think that is a beautiful song. Those people taking a risk going through the Sahara at their own risk, a very high risk. Anyways, as a play, this album, because it's a dark passion play and a dark queen, dark passion play, dark queen, this album makes so much sense until now for me. And I think that with all the turmoil associated with the ex-members, the new members, all of this, what I find, and most people, even sometimes today, they tend to comment only on what happened in the history of the band to understand that song, and understand the album. But I think that we miss a lot of points. because this is not commented, and I try to do that enough as an artistic project, as a play. Let's take it as a play, and let's try to understand how the protagonist, the different character evolves. How do we learn about them? What's happening in the story? Let's take it as a play. And I think that as a play, it's fantastic. It's musically, it's gorgeous. Until now, the story unfolds. For me, there's something very beautiful happening. Like I said, it begins with a lot of troubles, and it seems to travel towards some kind of peace, I guess, because generally speaking, I know the album generally. So, not commented enough as an artistic project for itself. I think the album is worth of that. So next week we will whoever brings the night it springs. It will be Lectio Musica 102. Don't forget, we have the music, but also all the subtitles in 8 languages, always the album with lyrics, live version, sometimes 2 like we did this one. So don't leave right now, because we have another reaction to a live video of 2016. The analysis of the lyrics and the reaction to a live version. The premiere is always on Friday, 1:30 Eastern North America. If you don't want to miss anything, just click on the subscribe button down below, right here. And beside it will appear a small bell. If you click on this, you will receive the notification that my video, I just uploaded a new video, and it will premiere, and it will tell you the hour of your time. So that can be very useful. As for now, let's go immediately to the last video of last presentation of that song. It's with Floor in Cross Pop Metal Meeting 2016. Let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Now we've had plenty of rain, so I suggest that we take you into a bit of a drier area, something desert-like. You might like this one then. Bit of Sahara, perhaps?
Let's go. Sahara. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's Sky. 2016 Sky. Her posture is perfect. Her back, and now everything is perfect for her. accomplished singer. This is a beat of yucca, a signature beat of yucca. He does it very well. Kai does it very well. She looked bored. Excellent. Yeah, that was wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's, yeah, the Flor, the storyteller, the entertainer, full blast. Always with that incredible rhythm. The voice brings her own twist on the song. Some of the lines I preferred a little bit more the way that Annette was doing it, but Flor made it her own, and it's beautiful that way. And generally speaking, of course, she's everything in the position of her larynx and of her spine is perfect. That's why she can do so much with her voice. She can do whatever she wants. I think she's incredible. She's in a class by herself. But that has nothing to do with the fact that Annette on this presentation made a very good performance, as I saw. Loved it as well. So, great song. Great videos of it. So I hope you appreciate it. Don't forget, next week we'll continue our journey through Dark Passionately. As for now, I say bye-bye. See you next week.